Hello, everyone. Welcome to Court with Krissy. I've got a sibling rivalry restitution hearing. Because sisters don't embrace, they punch you in your face. And you're here simply requesting your Walmart lost wages. I hope you like it. Court with Krissy is now in session.
Wisconsin versus Michaela Hanson Wall. The state appears through Assistant District Attorney Kevin Schmidt in person. Ms. Hanson Wall appears in person with counsel Gabriel Pollock. We're set here today in this matter for a restitution hearing. Mr. Pollock, is this matter still contested?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Schmidt, you may begin.
Go ahead. I'd call Trinity Wall.
Trinity Wall, please come forward, raise your right hand, be sworn in, and then come and have a seat at this witness stand.
Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to provide in this matter should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
All right, you may begin.
What's your name?
Trinity Wall.
And were you assaulted by Michaela Hanson on August 9th?
Yeah.
Okay. And as a result of that, you're saying you missed 2 weeks of work between August 10th and August 24th.
Like a week and a half, yeah.
What days did you miss work?
I can't tell you that because when I tried to contact Walmart with my schedule, they said it was so long ago that they couldn't pull it up for me.
Okay, so you're estimating.
Yes.
Do you believe, so you believe that you were scheduled for 60 hours of work between August 10th and August 24th?
Yeah.
But you don't have a schedule to fall back on to confirm that?
No, I do not.
How much were you getting paid an hour?
19 an hour throughout the summer, and then it would go down to 17 during the school year.
When does the school year start?
Late August, early September.
The dates you're requesting stretch into August 24th. Would that have been before or after school started?
I think that would have been before.
You're not sure though?
No.
What was your first day of school this year?
This year it was August 23rd for Jumpstart, but the real first day is September.
So you
September
started
3rd.
September.
Yes.
Okay. Why did the battery cause you to miss 2 weeks of work?
The night this happened, or the early morning, my phone was taken, and everyone that I was with, the other person that we were with, his phone was also taken. So I was unable to contact my manager because I didn't have the phone number. And at this specific Walmart, it's really hard to make contact with like the human resource person. So I was unable to do that. I was unable to log into my phone to see my work schedule on the Walmart app.
Okay. So you just didn't go to work.
Yeah.
But why didn't you go to work?
After a couple days, I went into the doctor's because my nose was still bleeding. They said they couldn't necessarily confirm that it was broken because how many days after, but they did say they did go over paperwork about having concussion, so that played a role too.
You went in on August 11th, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That's 2 days after the incident.
Yeah.
And they did not diagnose any broken bones.
No, I went into quick care. They did a x-ray.
And they didn't actually identify a concussion either. They just remarked you had headaches.
Yeah.
Okay. So you had already decided not to go into work on August 10th prior to going to the doctor.
No, I didn't know if I had work. Also, if I did go in, I did have a black eye and bruising. So if I did go into Walmart, that also, from a different look or standpoint, I guess you could say that that's embarrassing for me.
So the reason you didn't want to go into work is you embarrassed by a
No,
bruised
I was
eye.
in a lot of pain. My nose bled for over a week.
Okay. So you didn't want to
So-
go in because you were in pain and you had a black eye,
Yeah,
but you didn't notify Walmart of your intention not to go in.
how was I supposed to if my phone was missing?
So you,
I didn't get my phone back for probably anywhere from like 4 to 7 days.
okay. But you didn't notify Walmart of your intention not to go in,
No,
and they terminated you.
yes.
When did they terminate you?
I'm not sure. When I tried getting my job back there, they said that they couldn't hire me back at any store, even after I explained the situation.
When did you try to get your job back?
Well, I tried for months after that, but I didn't hear anything back, so I ended up going back to my old employers.
When did you first try to get your job back?
Probably after the 3-month period. I'm pretty sure they have a 3-month period where you can't try to get it back until after that period's over.
You didn't try to get your job back until November or December?
Yeah, something like that.
So when did you get a phone back?
I'd say anywhere from 4 to 7 days after. I was making contact with my mom, trying to get it back. I did go down to my mom's house to try to get my phone back, but they made me leave.
Who's they?
My brother and my mom.
So 4 to 7 days after the battery, so August 13th, around there.
Yeah, something like that.
So that's when you first attempted to call your employer and figure out employment stuff.
Yeah, something.
Okay.
I did try to make contact with them, but I didn't hear anything back.
If you didn't have a phone, did you try driving in and talking in person with anybody?
No, I didn't want to really go in with a black eye.
Okay.
As you can see, that was like really fresh after the incident, so going in would have been kind of traumatic. So for me, at least,
All
my
right.
story.
So what happened with your phone that you lost it?
So the night, when I had gotten up and tried to leave, she grabbed my phone. And I did try to go back into the cabin to grab it, and she was in the bathroom. And I opened the door. She punched me directly in my nose, and I had hit my head on something. So I decided to leave because I wasn't getting it back. And then the next day, or like the early afternoon, when my mom did find out about it, because I didn't want to tell my mom, I had picked up my brother, Isaiah, and we went back up to the cabin to try to get my phone back. And she said she didn't have it and that she didn't have anyone's phone. So I had left again. And then when I got home, my mom saw my face. I didn't really want to tell her because it's a hard situation when your family's involved. So I didn't tell, or I wasn't planning on telling her. And then she saw my face and contacted the police. And then the police tried to make contact with Kayla and they couldn't. So there's nothing they could have done, not arrest her, not get my phone back, nothing. And so Kayla ended up going to my mom's, I'm pretty sure, and I tried to get my phone back, but also for the first couple of days, Kayla ended up going to my mom's, I'm pretty sure, and I tried to get my phone back, but also for the first couple of days, I didn't really want to be around her. So when I did try to go down to my mom's house and get the phone, the door was locked and they wouldn't let me in. They told me to leave because I'm pretty sure they didn't want another altercation. So I left and I went back up to the apartment where me and Kayla were staying at.
So that was kind of a long response. I need to dial back to figure out the pathway of the phone. Where were you attacked by Michaela?
At a cabin, Jarek's cabin.
Okay, that's where you left your phone there.
The phone was taken from me.
How
But
so?
yes, she took it out of my hands, and when I tried getting my phone back, she punched me. So
And then you fled at that point.
yeah, I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I mean, do you stay in a place where someone's violently attacking you and you're telling them to stop, or would you leave? Because I personally would leave. I had no choice.
I'm trying to track where the phone is and
Okay, she had the phone at the cabin. She left the cabin. I don't know where she went after the cabin. But then she ended up at my mom's house probably the next day or 2 days after. And then I tried getting the phone back by contacting my mom. My mom said she didn't have it, nothing to do with it, pretty much the same story. So when I did try to go down there, I was told to leave. So I did try to get my phone back.
so, okay, so the phone is left with Michaela at the cabin when
Yes.
she hits you taking it. What is the next step you took to get the phone back and when?
Well, after I had left the cabin the next day, I went and got my brother and I had went back to the cabin to try to get it from her. She had her phone in my purse. I don't know if her phone was turned off or what is that. I don't know if that's why she had my phone, but I gave her phone back and I asked her to give me mine back because I knew she had it. And she said she didn't have it. So I said, okay. And I left.
Okay, so that's
But
the
I knew
next
she
day
had
and
it.
that's going with your brother.
Yes.
What was the next effort you made to find the phone?
Contacting my mom, asking her to get it back for me.
What do you mean by get it back? You think Michaela has the phone, right?
Yeah, and she did, but I called my mom, texted her, stuff like that, trying to get it back.
So you're asking mom, can you talk to Michaela? Help
Get
me
my phone back. Yeah.
Okay. Did you get the phone back as a result of that?
No. So then
What was the
I
next effort you took?
then I went to my mom's house where Kayla was at to try to get it back.
And did you get it back then?
No,
Did you ever get the phone back?
I did get it back. But when I did get it back, it was reset. Everything was deleted.
And when and where did you get it back?
I think my mom gave it to me and I tried to turn it on. It was reset. So I had to go through this long process to try to get it back set up.
Did your mom tell you how she got the phone?
No.
No. So you're just assuming she got it from Michaela.
Yes.
I have no further questions.
Mr. Pollock.
Trinity, I just want to start very basically. You indicated that you were not sure what your actual schedule was.
Correct.
So you're not sure if you were actually scheduled on all of the days that you requested.
Yes, I was told by my attorney to kind of guess or guesstimate, I guess.
Okay.
I knew I was working probably at least 30 hours a week
But you don't
because it was the
have,
summertime.
but you don't know if these specific dates you were actually scheduled.
No.
Um,
And I also couldn't log in to my app because I didn't have my phone to check my schedule.
Sure.
So
There has been quite a bit of discussion about the phone. Do you know at what day you actually got it back?
no, I'm not 100% sure. I just know that it was probably 4 to 7 days after. It was a lot of back and forth.
You indicated when you were testifying that you called your mom and texted her.
Yeah, through my grandma's flip phone.
Okay. Could you have used your grandmother's flip phone to call Walmart?
I didn't have their number. I didn't know how to search it up. And like I said before, it was really hard to try to make contact with the specific person I was supposed to. Walmart also does have a policy. Sorry, my bad. I just went blank, but
Okay, so you presumably had a manager.
yes.
Did you know your manager's name?
No, I can't remember. I was only there for maybe 2 months at the time, so it's
Would you have known your manager's name at the time?
probably I would have just asked. There's a couple like supervisors and managers, but the main person that I would have talked to is like the human resource person, I think.
Okay, so you didn't try to contact your supervisor?
No.
Okay. I assume when you were hired at Walmart, they told you that if there was like a medical issue, you could call in, right?
Yeah. with the well, they didn't necessarily say that, but with the circumstances, I felt like there's no possible way. Okay, so I could have went in, right? With a black eye, right? Okay, that's what a lot of people are telling me. And yeah, that's true. But I guess a lot of people might not understand the situation if you're in it. If you just got your face beat in by your sibling, I'm laughing, but it's going into a public place around people and saying, yeah, I'm a victim is kind of a scary and hard thing to admit or
So-
to say.
So my
But
question was, you did not try and contact a supervisor.
No.
Okay.
But also, how was I supposed to do that with the circumstances? If I have one flip phone, internet taken away from the apartment by Kayla, how am I supposed to make contact? How am I supposed to do that? If I have a flip phone where I can't search the number up. Yes, I'm sure I could have tried to go in, but
You couldn't ask your grandmother for help finding a telephone number?
I don't think she would have known that.
Okay. Regarding your actual employment at Walmart, you said you were there for approximately 2 months.
Around, yeah.
Do
Maybe.
you know what date you were actually terminated from Walmart?
No, I wasn't notified by them.
Okay. Were you ever written up during your time of employment there?
Nope.
Did
I
you
went to work every day.
And you never left early?
Nope.
Okay.
I also had my job before that. I was there for almost 2 years. So
So in the 2 months at Walmart, it's your testimony that you were an ideal employee
yeah,
and you don't remember your supervisor's name.
no.
Okay.
There was multiple supervisors.
And you
Walmart's a big corporation.
and you didn't recall any of those supervisors' names to contact at this point.
No, I
Okay.
don't remember. Also, keep in mind, this case has been going on for over a year. I worked there for 2 months. How am I supposed to remember everyone's name that I worked with? And a lot of the stuff that you guys are questioning me on, which I understand why, the situation is really traumatic. I'm sure you can imagine. So having to go through all this again is just,
Okay. You also indicated that a lot of people were telling you you could have gone in.
yeah, like you guys, which I understand why, but
And,
I think, go ahead.
and then you indicated that you chose not to do that.
I mean, you could say that, yeah, but with the circumstances, like I said, that's kind of a hard thing to do. If I'm out of work, even if I'm out of work if I'm having headaches, my nose is bleeding for a week, I have doctor's appointments, family coming at me with questions, going through the trauma, which I'm sure that doesn't matter, but
Okay. No further questions for Trinity Wall.
All right, thank you. Any redirect?
No,
You may step down. Thank you. Any further witnesses?
no.
Any witnesses?
Call Michaela Hanson Wall.
Think it's necessary?
I guess, Your Honor, I don't, but Ms. Hanson Wall, you're good.
I can go up.
Do you want to or do you not? Because I think I have enough to make the argument, but
Yeah, it's fine. I can go up if you need me to.
Your call.
Your Honor, I would call Michaela Hanson Wall.
Ms. Hanson, please come forward, raise your right hand, be sworn in, and have a seat at the witness stand.
Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to provide in this matter should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. You may come have a seat. You may begin.
Ms. Hanson Wall, could you just state your name and spell it for the record, please?
My name is Michaela Hanson Wall, Makayla, Hansonwall.
And this may sound obvious, but how do you know Trinity Wall?
She's my sister.
How often do you see her?
Quite a bit.
Do you know anything about her employment at Walmart in 2023?
Yes.
What can you tell me about that?
She worked there for a short period of time. We were hanging out every day, like before work, after work, so we were together a lot. Like that whole summer we were together.
Do you remember her telling you anything about that employment?
No, she made some friends there. She liked the job. That's really about it. Not much. She didn't work there for a long time.
Do you know anything about her attendance at Walmart?
I know when this incident happened, she took the week off work, so she was not working. She took the week off because we planned a trip down to Milwaukee. She was down there for a weekend herself, and then she came back, picked me up, and we went back. And then she had a dentist appointment the day after the incident happened. So she was off work that entire week.
Okay. Do you know if she was contacting her supervisor at that point?
No, she told me she took off work and that was it. I know it, she had previously taken days off work before everything happened.
So there was some discussion about the cell phone being taken. What do you know about that?
She had my phone and I had hers. So my phone was in her bag and it was dead, and I had her phone, and I took her phone from her because she was being disrespectful. And the day after she came back, I just asked her to apologize to me and I would give it to her. And she didn't do that. And then she left, like stranded me in Webster.
When you say she stranded you in Webster, what's that mean?
So she asked for the phone. I told her to apologize. She didn't want to. And then her and everyone like left me there.
Was she with you at that point physically?
Yes, when I asked her to apologize to me.
And you did not give the phone back at that time?
No.
When did the phone get returned?
I went back to St. Croix that day. My mom messaged me about it. I did give it back. I changed the password on it, but I did not delete anything. I didn't have her Apple ID password. All I did was go on the phone and delete the pictures of me off her phone. She has every picture, everything on her phone, every message, everything.
When you say that day, do you know what day specifically?
I went back to St. Croix the day after the incident happened. So they left me in Webster. I messaged my friend and I got a ride back to St. Croix, and my mom messaged me asking for her phone. And I think I gave it back the day after my mom asked for it.
So the incident itself was on August 9th, right?
Yes,
So
like the 11th.
the 11th, the phone would
Yeah.
have been returned?
And there was a password on it, but I gave it to my mom. I changed the password on it. I gave the password to my mom. All I did was delete the pictures of myself off her phone. She has every picture she's ever had,
Did you-
except the pictures from that summer of me and her together. That's the only thing that I deleted.
Did you do anything with the Walmart app specifically?
No,
Okay.
I didn't touch anything else on her phone. I wanted the pictures of myself off her phone.
And I guess when you say you changed the password, you
Yeah.
also said that you gave the password to her, who
I
is her.
gave the password to my mom and she changed the password back, but there was nothing missing off her phone. I didn't go on anything else except Snapchat memories and the camera roll, and it was just to delete the pictures of myself.
All right, thank you. Nothing further.
All right, Mr. Schmidt, questions?
I don't have any cross.
All right, you may step down because I don't think there's any request for anything about a phone. We're just restitution's just asking for lost wages. All right, any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Argument, Mr. Schmidt.
The victim's position is that there was trauma from being attacked. There was embarrassment from the injuries, that they were visible and that caused her to not want to go into work. Her phone was taken from her by the defendant. She was unable to contact her work to let them know that she's unable to come into work. She gave an estimate based upon what her schedule was as to the amount of time she missed and her hours. So for those reasons, the victim is asking for restitution of $1,140. Thank you.
Thank you. Argument, Mr.
Your Honor, we don't even know that Trinity Wall was scheduled on the days she's requesting restitution for. So that was not proven. There's some testimony about a trip and time taken off by Michaela. That's uncontroverted. There's also, I think, quite a bit of Trinity's own testimony that indicates she had access to a phone through her grandmother. She was calling and texting her mother. She could have called Walmart name. You just say, I'm an employee, I'm having an emergency, I'm not able to come to work. And she simply didn't do that. Now, I think if she had done that, that might be a very different situation. But essentially, this is, per her own testimony, a situation where we don't know if she was working, and if she was supposed to work, she took no steps to ensure that she could have kept her job on her own. So I just don't think that restitution is at all appropriate here.
Thank you. All right. Well, whether or not she called Walmart or had the ability to call Walmart or could call Walmart or had her phone to call Walmart or had the app on her phone to call Walmart or text Walmart, that's a red herring. Because if she was injured enough to miss work, that's why we're here. Not whether or not she let Walmart know that she couldn't go to work because she was beat up by her sister. So that's a red herring. All that we have in front of the court here today is to determine whether or not defendant should be required to pay for any lost wages of the victim. We have an injury that did occur on August 9th, 2023, in which Ms. Hanson Wall fully admitted to her conduct that day and admitted to being very aggressive, and I say violent, to her sister, in which her sister was injured, had a very bloody and I don't recall if it was a broken nose, but a very injured nose, and as her sister testified to, had a black eye.
Can I say one thing?
You may not. It is not your turn anymore. Criminal restitution is governed by Wisconsin statute 973.20. The restitution statute is determined broadly to allow victims to recover losses. State v. Kennedy 2000 Wisconsin App 87 is where the court has to look at as it relates to restitution. Wisconsin statute does provide in relevant part that the court shall order the defendant to make full or partial restitution under this section to any victim. In relevant part that the court shall order the defendant to make full or partial restitution under this section to any victim of a crime considered at sentencing. The statute further provides that restitution extends to lost income, reasonable out-of-pocket expenses, as well as to all special damages, but not general damages, substantiated by evidence of a crime considered at sentencing. Wisconsin statute 973.20 paren 5. Now, the court must find that the defendant's actions were the precipitating cause of the injury complained of, and such injury was the natural consequences of the actions in order for the court to find the defendant liable for the claimed restitution of the victim. In other words, the court must find this causal nexus between the crime considered at sentencing and the victim's alleged damages, what they're claiming, what she's saying she lost, all right? And to find this causal nexus, the state here, because they are handling the case, must prove that the defendant's criminal conduct was a substantial factor in causing the victim's damage. And that means the victim's conduct of beating up her sister caused her sister to not go to work, which caused her sister to lose income. And in making this determination, there's a whole vast, a lot of discretion with the court. I have a lot of discretion, okay? And in this determination, a court can look at the defendant's entire course of conduct, all of the facts, and taking all of the inferences as it relates to the defendant's activities in this crime. And that includes the date of the incident and the conduct thereafter, which could include keeping the phone and not giving the phone back to the victim. But again, all of this, whether she called Walmart, whether she contacted her supervisor, whether she had her phone to call, or she could have looked it up in that big old thing called a yellow book, or, you know, called zero an operator. And, you know, people don't know what kids these days, they don't understand those things. They don't understand how you can find a number of Walmart without having a phone to look up Google and say, what is Walmart in St. Croix Falls, their number, and how do I contact somebody to say I'm not going to work? Either way, that's a red herring, and whether or not she had to even do that. Because she was very beat up. She was beat up. Not only did she experience headaches and she had, her nose was bleeding. It was hit very hard. She did experience extreme trauma. You see that today, and you see that at the sentencing, where the victim was on the stand and immediately with the first question, tears, emotion, immediately, floodgate of tears. This is still has an extreme emotional impact on the victim. This is hitting her to the core, and it is continuing to hit her to the core. This is her sister, her blood, somebody that she was close with. They both testified to, defendant testified to. They hung out all the time, before work, after work, all the time during the summer when they had free time. They were best friends. They did everything together. They were as close can be, and then snap. Trauma. Restitution, and the restitution statute doesn't allow me to order damages for trauma. Unless you're going to therapy and you're going to need to have therapy, and you can show those types of things, and then I can have the defendant pay for the therapy. But that's not why we're here, and that's not what the victim is asking for. The victim is asking for lost wages and to recoup those lost wages. When I'm looking at this case and I understand and I hear the victim that this was so traumatic for her, that it was embarrassing for her to go to work with a bloody, with a big nose and a black eye, and she didn't want to show her face, and that it's embarrassing to work in Walmart and to have people see her like this, and the fact that it's her flesh and blood, her sister, her closest friend in the world, that did this to her, so she didn't feel comfortable going to work. I understand that, but it doesn't mean that it's compensable. It doesn't mean that because she felt like she needed 2 weeks off to be able to heal enough to go to work, that's her damages. With the extent of the damages, the black eye, the being hit in the nose and having some swelling and having the headaches, it's reasonable, and there is a nexus to believe that the actions of defendant caused the injury, which did cause the victim to need a few days to recuperate. So I see and I find that at least 3 days is reasonable to believe that the victim needed to recuperate after the injury. So I find that she's entitled to 24 hours of lost wages at $19 an hour. And I believe that equates to $72. Or no, 24 hours times 19 equals $456 that she would be entitled to for lost wages. I cannot find that any more would be reasonable or any more would be caused by the defendant's actions because the injuries would have, other than the emotional injuries, would have been healed and she would have been able to go back to work at that time. So that is the order of the court. When is she going to be able to pay that? I believe she's on probation for a period of a year. She's going to need to pay that back. Either pay it back in 30 days or will she need a payment plan?
She will need a payment plan, Your Honor.
And where are you working?
I'm working at like Panda King in St. Croix Falls.
And how much do you make an hour?
$17 an hour.
And do you have rent?
Yeah,
How much is your rent?
$800.
And you work full-time?
Yeah,
17. $100 a month to be paid to probation until paid in full. This is a condition of probation. If you fail to pay it off in full, probation most likely will be extended. And you could sit an additional 6 months, or you could sit 6 months in jail for failing to pay. It's very important that you figure out how to pay your restitution. I believe that this is something that is consistent with your ability to pay. I'm not sure how much is left, if any, from the amount. Or I think that we have some that's pre-posted that may go to restitution, but we would need to see because you had some posted already. Mr. Schmidt, anything else?
Not for me.
Mr. Pollock?
I don't believe so, Your Honor, but no, not for me.
All right, then we are adjourned.
We should talk.
Oops, all right.